Has it started? Ah, there we go. The taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. Your toxic, with the taste of a ports of paradise. I'm addicted to you. Don't you know that you're toxic? Intoxicate me now with your loving now. Oh, let me get off the screen. I think I'm ready now.
Hello and
Are
welcome
you
to
still
Nobody
eyeball?
Asked with Maria
Hi.
and Colin.
Just his eyes and his nose. Why are you so low?
Today we're talking about a bunch of topics with exactly the same stakes. We're talking about Britney Spears. We're talking about Jada Pinkett Smith. We're talking about Sidney Powell. We're talking about Jim Jordan. And if we have time, we'll do a little fun time corner on Israel and Gaza or Palestine or Hamas, depending on how you want to pitch it. But no matter what, you better say it the right way or else you're just the worst.
Fun time corner. Yeah, sounds super fun.
That's actually what I call Israel or Palestine. I call it the fun time corner of the Middle East.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
That's what everybody calls it.
Over here, surely there's not a complicated geopolitical mess going on right here.
No.
Oh, there is. And then the fun time corner of Israel-Palestine is, of course, Gaza, right?
Oh, yes, that's the funnest part.
And then the fun time corner of politics in Gaza is
Hamas.
And the fun time corner of Hamas is we haven't gotten that far. I don't know.
I was like, I'm not smart enough for this. I've been somewhat actively avoiding coverage on Israel. You know, I'll watch a little bit and then I'm like, too much, and I have to move on. So
it makes me want to tear off my own face. Everyone just with their fucking, everyone, it's so simple.
It's so simple.
And then the policing of people and the sort of weird double think, the way that somehow everyone is like, it's sometimes okay to kill civilians. And you're like, okay, convince me. But
yeah.
Well, but they did this first. No, but they did this first. No, but they did this. But they did this, and you're like, okay.
But yeah, you're conflating all of them as they when it's not all of them.
Look,
but they voted for them.
It's worth it if after all of this we get an ethno state. That's what we all want is an ethno state, right?
Right. Those are the ideas of our country.
Yes.
Ethno states. That's why it says in God we trust on our money.
Yes.
Shit.
Hell yeah. Ethno state. Ethno state.
Religious freedoms trumps. I hate whatever amendment that is. The second, I think. No.
But first.
But
first, a message from our sponsor. Math. It's simple, and it was made by the Arabs. Math.
Are you sure? It was made by the Arabs. Do you remember when that used to be sort of like the center of science and math and innovation and everything?
I don't remember.
I don't either. I wasn't alive. But apparently it's the case. And also, have you heard about all the math going on these days? Boy math, girl math, It's pretty hilarious.
Responses, that's like an equal sign, but with death.
Indeed.
That's chilling. Dude, who fucked up being at like the top of everybody? Who fucked up? Greece.
Okay.
What's going on with Greece? They were like the philosophers, and the warrior poets. And then they were like, all right, we're done. Dang it.
Yes, all of those things.
Anyway, guys, just want to give a big shout out to Math for sponsoring today's episode. What's going on in your life, Mom?
I've been hanging walls and insulation and all that good jazz and, trying to make a livable space for when you guys come and visit here in, not very long, less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
Which is crazy.
It's
crazy. So that'll be exciting. You'll be here and Ellie will be here. Every year there's a festival down here called the Peter Anderson Festival, and it is a gigantic art festival. And it's pretty cool. So yeah, so pretty excited.
It's very
yeah.
crafty.
It's beyond crafty. It's art. It's not a craft fair. It's art. So yes, there's a little bit of crafts.
Fair?
Huh?
It's a hobbyist fair.
It is, but I feel like when you go to a craft fair, you're getting a lot more sort of silly stuff. And you do get a little bit of silly stuff here, but not to the same level. You get a lot more like real artists there selling art.
Yeah, it's like artisans. It's like
artisans.
Field artisans.
Yep. So
this time I hope that they have. Like, last time there was somebody that was making pottery, and then there was this way that they were putting the blue on the pottery that was so cool. And I think we all looked at it and we're like, we could totally do this. And then I tried to do it with Ellie's mug, and I was like, oh, I cannot do this. I don't understand. It was just like alive, like the movement of it. But so yeah, I hope that's there. I also hope that maybe we can do some pottery stuff at Marlene's. That would be fun.
We'll have to see. I know she just fired a bunch of stuff, and I know she didn't like the way she fired a bunch of plates, and she didn't like the way they came out. So I think she might be putting another coat on and seeing if she can send them through the kiln another time and see if she'll be happier. But I don't know. We will see.
Interesting. Oh yeah. I found out yesterday. It's possible when we come down for Christmas that we'll have two. Yes, you did miss the sponsor, Ashley. I know that you're usually being all like, ha, you haven't said the sponsor yet, but you did miss it. It was math.
It was math.
We might have two dogs when we come down for Christmas.
What? Like you're getting two dogs, or you're going to be babysitting an extra dog?
We're going to be babysitting an extra dog, I think, maybe.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Listen, as long as you take care of it and don't make it my problem, I'm fine.
Did you feel like Moby was your problem?
No.
Cool. Well, this one's going to be more of a problem, I suspect. But because right now it's a demon. It's a demon dog. So it's a corgi, a little corgi puppy.
Those are demons.
Named Marcel.
They're
Oh,
so cute.
My God. Dude, Moby is not a fan of this dog.
He didn't seem like the last corgi he met went very well either. Penny.
Well, that time it was the corgi. Like the corgi didn't like him. Moby was cool, but yeah, I don't know.
It'll be something.
Yeah, we might be coming down with two dogs, so we'll see.
All right.
I worry it's going to traumatize Moby. Mom, what the heck is going on with Britney Spears?
Okay, I'll tell you what's going on with Britney Spears. So, she's got a book that she has written that's coming out here, I think in a couple days, actually. And so, obviously, before your book comes out, they release excerpts that are going to get you all excited about reading it.
Yep.
And the excerpts that she has released were about Justin Timberlake, who she's been largely mum about since they broke up in 2002. And really, he broke up with her in 2002, and it was quite devastating for her. And in the tabloids, it always implied that she cheated on him, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's why she's not talking about it, because she was the one that did the bad thing, right? But in this book, it does not appear to be the case. So she says she doesn't want to name names because this woman has children and a family now, but that while they were dating, he was cheating on her, is part of the story. And I think people that really, really follow the Britney thing know who it is. I think her last name is Appleton. I don't know who the heck that is. So, but also she got pregnant, when she was 19. Mm-hmm. And
Britney did?
Huh?
Britney did?
Britney got pregnant, yes. And she ended up having an abortion. And it was very devastating for Britney. And it seemed like Justin Timberlake just was kind of a dick about it, a little bit, right? He didn't want to have a child right then, which of course he didn't. He was, I don't know how old he was. Was he 19 also? Or he couldn't have been more than 22, whatever he was. He was in that similar age range. He had a hugely budding career at that point. Of course he doesn't want to have a child, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not really surprising. But for Britney herself, it was devastating because she thought she was going to be with Justin forever and she loved him. And she, so it was extra hard. But then when you find out, so this isn't from the book, but this is sort of the gossip around what's going on that's kind of popping up is that Justin Timberlake got another girl pregnant while he was dating Britney.
Mhm.
Her name is Iris Timberlake, who has a very strange social media presence where some days she loves her dad, some days she hates her dad. But she was born in 2002. So that's while he was still with Britney, while that was happening. So it seems like he might have got two girls pregnant around the same time, and Iris was born to the one that did not have the abortion. But it sounds like her mom, this other woman's, Iris's mom, was a bit of a, I don't know, she's not a very nice mom, it sounds like, because she would say things like, I wish I had aborted you to her daughter. She's one of those kinds of terrible moms.
Yep, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, you got a mom that's always holding that stuff over your face, over your head. You got a dad that, will throw money at you and might sometimes interact with you, but often also acts like he does not care, keeps you in the shadows because you're not good for his image. Britney's revelations aren't great for his image either. You've got his wife, Jessica Biel, and everybody else saying this was in the past. We're not going to bring all of this up right now. Where for Britney, who's been silenced for how many years because of the conservatorship, for her, it's all, I'm going to say whatever I want now. So it is interesting.
There's just this infuriating thing where, admittedly it is 20 years, but there's this infuriating thing that happens so much in confrontations where somebody who did the bad thing, presumably doesn't have an excuse or something, and so instead they say that they've moved on, and it's like, that's of course you have. You weren't wronged, bro. It's like, if I murdered someone and it was a cold case and I got caught, my defense could not be, well, I've moved on past it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly. You don't get to decide when somebody else gets over something. You're like, I apologize. Why have you not forgiven me? That's just that's not how it works.
But yeah, if they've apologized, right?
If they've apologized. But even if it doesn't matter, you don't get to demand forgiveness from somebody. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Yeah. Or their silence about how they were wronged. They get to be as noisy as they want to be. They get to talk about it when and if they want to. It's just what it is. Let's see. We got Ashley makes the music video every time make more sense. Also, not from the book, but a fan theory I've seen. So I don't know that I've seen some clips of the every time video, and it even you got her kind of running through a hallway and past a door, and there's somebody giving birth to a baby and holding a baby, in that door, and then you've got the boyfriend, the person who's playing the boyfriend of Britney in the video, kind of yelling at her and just being kind of awful. So you could definitely see it. And then there's another scene where Britney's like in the bathtub and, kind of going underneath the water. So, is she trying to drown out the misery? Who knows? It's hard to say, but it does make that video look a little bit different when that's what happened. Hi, Critolin.
Hi, Critolin.
And I can't wait for this book. Already used my credit on Audible and pre-ordered it. Ooh. Listen, there's a lot of books that I should be ordering right now, and this is definitely one that I would enjoy reading. Just because if you follow anything Britney says lately, it's all a bunch of gobbledygook and stream of thought kind of thing. So having her filtered through an actual writer would be interesting to see if any of it makes sense.
You do wonder, how reliable everything would be.
How is she a reliable narrator of her own life, you mean?
Yeah.
That's a fair question.
She's fair to think it's unlikely.
I think some of it can be backed up with, there's some proof of some things because people do watch everything she does. But I think that's a fair thing to say. I think there's also a part of the book where she talks about her grandmother and how her grandfather had her committed and she was on lithium. And I think that also happened to Britney, right? Her father had her institutionalized and had her on lithium. So, is that going to affect how well you're you narrate your life, maybe. Is that also going to affect how you view the people you're supposed to trust in your life? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have pretty strong feelings about lithium. Lithium is like a monster drug. So if you're on it, don't get off of it on my advice, but there's some pretty rough information. Ooh, Critolin is talking about that Jeanette McCurdy book, that I'm Glad My Mom Died. That I still need to listen to that one. That one looked really cool. Also, I have a real love for people that will say things like that, you know, not specifically about their mom dying, but like,
I didn't think that's what you meant.
That sort of like super abrasive way of saying thing, but it's just true, right? Mm-hmm. Like that, like pushing past the censorship of I don't know, is it manners, or is it like what's okay to say? Like, oh, you should never wish death upon someone.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you making people uncomfortable, right? Being okay with making people uncomfortable because it's what's true.
It's like, you can't. Yeah. It's, I don't know. I just, I have a love for that sort of thing. Just the very real sort of Childish Gambino, "This is America" type speech. This is America. Dude, so we were talking about the I've moved past this. This was so far in the past type thinking, and you know, it makes me think of Vanderpump Rules, man.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
I finished it. We finished it. We had a watch party for last season's reunion, and so much. Obviously, the worst person in the show is Tom Sandoval in it, but how much can Lala say over and over again? Just move past it, when it's like everyone is coming down on cheating. And then Andy Cohen, who is my favorite, I love Andy Cohen, is like, you've all cheated on each other in this whole show. And they're like, we have to move past that. We have to move past that. And then they're so mad at this other person who's cheating. It's like,
you know, Andy Cohen has a really weird bromance with John Mayer. Like,
interesting.
It's real weird. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them wearing like matching outfits, matching Christmas pajamas. You know, they're weird, man. I think they might live together.
How do we feel about John Mayer right now? I feel like it switches, but
I think you just take him as he is, and you know, he says kind of awful things, and he's not the best. I don't know.
He's really good at guitar, man.
He is. He's a good musician. Is he a good actual human being? It's harder to say. Let's hope there's been growth there along the way. I don't know.
So I know no so-called John Mayer T. Also, I think that Perez Hilton, I would take anything Perez Hilton said with a grain of salt, but
he puts his flavor on it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just like he's good at it. I often find that people's complaints about John Mayer, I'm like, these feel pretty surface layer, like that, like girls become nerds, turning to mothers.
I don't have any problem with that. I just wonder. I just feel like he might not treat people well when he's in relationships with them, and also he had an inappropriate, to me, relationship with Taylor Swift. It felt like that age gap was just gross.
What was the age gap? Was it like 30 and 19?
Yeah, that sounds right. Either way, that's you're not at the same point in life. You can be taken advantage of, and no me gusta.
Okay.
Oh, see, Ashley's with me on this.
Dating teenage Taylor was pretty ick. 12 years. Swift was 19. Mayer was 32. Oop. Yeah, that's pretty gross. Dude, yep. Hey, yeah, you know who were 100%?
She says 17 and 27.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, the gap is the same, but yes. Was she an adult or was she not an adult when it started? Unknown to me.
This says 19. I'm sure that's like the I don't know, the agreed upon timeline or something. Dude, okay, you know who's going to have a documentary made about him? And it hurts me to say this because I enjoy like interviews with this guy. I love his music when it's good. But this guy cannot stop himself from hitting on like women that are 18, 17, 16, just being a little creepy. You know who I'm talking about? Drake. Dude.
Oh, I didn't know.
Drake, everyone knows the thing with Millie Bobby Brown, and I do think everything with Millie Bobby Brown like freaks me out ever since that whole Drake.
I mean, she's married now to John Bon Jovi's son.
She's married?
Yeah.
How old is Millie Bobby Brown?
I mean, she's barely old enough to be married. We'll just say that, but she is married.
19.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wait. Married? Are we sure married?
Very sure. Pretty sure. Oh, yeah, maybe she's just engaged. Is she married or engaged? Which is it?
Yeah, fiance, engaged.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, she seems like somebody that was maybe forced to grow up a little before she's supposed to, and there's going to be all sorts of stuff about that. But look, Drake just came out with an album, and you've got to think when you've got this sort of heat on you, right? When
she's also a flat earther, last I knew, so this is a bit bonkers.
Yeah, that.
Sorry, Drake.
When Drake has had this sort of groomer heat on him, you would think that he would at least, with his PR team, attempt to, stay away from looking like you're hitting on girls that are really young compared to you. Because what is Drake, like 40 something now?
I don't think he's 40, is he? He's got to be getting close though.
Oh, okay. 36. Okay. He just released an album last week, and I think is trying to spit game at Billie Eilish in this album.
But she's an adult, right?
She's an adult. So is Taylor Swift at 19, Mom.
Sure. Wait, how old is Billie Eilish? I thought she was older than that.
She's like 20. You think she's 20?
Is she only 20? No.
She's 21. She's 21.
Okay. I think I would have guessed she was older still, but I guess she's been making music for a while. She was just young.
Oh yeah, I mean the Ocean Eyes song that blew her up before the big album. That Ocean Eyes song, I think she was 15.
Okay, so that's what throws me off, I think. Okay,
and I'm pretty sure that song, not the Bad Guy song, I'm pretty sure she was 17 when that came out.
That's a good song though.
Yeah, but it is. Yeah. It is hella about fucking. So it's like, sure. Yeah. So, but anyway, I think that Drake is trying to spit game at Billie Eilish, and it's like, dude, stop, please.
Yeah, it's nasty. It's nasty.
Dude, there's we have friends that are like, should we even be friends with this person? I found out that their last relationship, like, he was starting grad school and she was like halfway through undergrad. And I'm like, that's 3 years different. But it's okay. Part of your life. And I'm like, okay. Sure. Yeah, was he her TA? Because then that could be gross, right? But could be. But like, it sounds like they met at like a vacation spot. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. This is too much, guys.
Yes, you've overcorrected here. You've gone too far.
Oh, so much overcorrecting in my friend group. Mom, what is going on with Jada Pinkett Smith?
Okay, so I think she's also got a book possibly coming out, and she's been doing her little press tour, and she was on the Today Show, and Hoda was interviewing her, and of course we've got to talk about Chris Rock and the slap, right? Yeah. And through that discussion about the slap, we find out that her and Will Smith have been basically living as if they are divorced since like 2017-ish, right? But they're not divorced, okay? And so, you know, whenever we talk about all of her alleged infidelities and all of that stuff, it doesn't really count. We're making Jada look like the bad guy when really they're not really married together. They're just in a partnership, and all of that stuff. And so when Will slapped Chris Rock and said, you know, basically keep my wife's name out of your mouth. I can't remember what he said. He said something that had the word wife in it. Suddenly, this set Jada off. Why is he calling me his wife? Like, you came together, right? You know what I mean? You showed up at this event together. None of you have publicly ever said that you're not together. You're not divorced. Somehow she was offended that he called her his wife in that situation, and also was like, is Will okay? Because he's acting hella weird. Doesn't he know that we're not together? You know what I mean? And she just turned it, and then she's like, the only reason I rolled my eyes when Chris Rock said, you know, something about me being bald was that he was being offensive towards people with alopecia. Okay, right? Because her claim is that she has alopecia. That's why she's bald. The internet right now is very much like, she probably doesn't even have alopecia. Tupac had alopecia, right? And so now she's because she's so fixated on Tupac, she now also has alopecia.
Oh my gosh, she's so fixated on Tupac. It's crazy.
She's so fixated on it. So that's the other thing, is in her book, she said that basically she'll always love Tupac, and she loved him more than she loved Will Smith, who she's had this 26-year relationship with, or however long it's been. And the idea is ridiculous because, okay, so apparently Tupac and Jada Pinkett Smith knew each other as teenagers. They grew up in the same little area, right? Did they ever really date? No, they kind of really never did. So she claims that she met him. So when he went to jail, he was at Rikers Island. He was at Rikers Island for like a month before he got transferred to another prison. She met him at Rikers Island, and he proposed to her. That's what she said, right? Meanwhile, he also proposed and married another woman at the same time period. And the small window of time with which she could have possibly been to Rikers Island, his actual fiance had moved to be close to him and was showing up every single day for visitation. Mm-hmm. And so her story's ridiculous, but also during that time period, that brief time period, she was actually with Will Smith on the other side of the country. They were rolling around with each other in city to city, having a great old time in their brand new relationship. And It's ridiculous. So her entire narrative that she has created around Tupac feels imaginary and exaggerated. And
she's felt mentally unwell forever. I mean, the Red Table Talk was unhinged to watch. And then and also just like the problem with the August Alsina relationship was not just the cheating, right? All right, you've allayed the cheating thing, but we're talking about John Mayer being a little icky. That was so gross, and it's
so gross.
It's your son's friend.
Yeah, like, and he basically
your family friend
was like a son. He was like their son. He basically lived in their house. Do you know what I mean? Everything about it was disgusting.
Yeah,
it was gross. And so now she's trying to allegedly she's trying to rehab her image, right? By saying, this was not what happened here, right? And meanwhile, Will Smith got canceled basically after that slap. I say canceled. I mean, to me, he was going to recover from that, right? But it was going to be a slow recovery. Whatever he was working on right then got slowed down pretty dramatically. Like, we don't know how this is going to shake out. We're going to put a pause on this, what we're working on. Okay. To me, for Will Smith, this is the best thing that could happen. Everybody hating his wife, you guys not being together. To me, we're going to see Will Smith just rise like a phoenix, right? So he posted it on an Instagram live, I guess. I have not had any success actually seeing the live. I hear audio clips is about all I can hear. Like you'll see, Will Smith saying, I can sleep anywhere. And he's got his phone turned off. Like he's not receiving messages after all of the stuff that Jada just went on the Today Show to say he's got his phone muted. He's taking a nap. He doesn't care. He's over it. But also, it's like your name is Jada Pinkett Smith. Why would people not think you are my wife? You know what I mean? Like they like to say that he's filing for divorce now. There's no indication that he's actually filed for divorce since this has happened, despite the way the headlines like to put things. There's no indication that has actually happened. They may continue on with their ridiculous partnership forever. Who knows? But I really would like to see him just really, let's separate your assets, separate it all out. And maybe that's what she's trying to do with her book and making all of these appearances. Is she's trying to reestablish herself and have her own income. I don't know what the heck she's doing, but it's not going to be bad for Will Smith, in my opinion. I think it's going to be good.
I don't know. I mean, I think the image of Will Smith has been destroyed over the course of the last 8 years. It's just been rough to watch Will Smith and have him be this like movie star darling, sort of like everyman badass Prince of Bel-Air, but also I Am Legend. Like
he's done so many good things.
He was in so many good movies, and he had his thing, and he was just Men in Black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like funny, badass. He was all of the things that you want from like a great movie star, and it just all came crumbling around him with like his son being weird as fuck online. I mean, so weird, right? And then suddenly the whole family was under a magnifying glass, and that whole family, you're like, Jesus, what's going on over there? Then Jada Pinkett Smith having sex with Jaden's friend, and then the cheating stuff, and then people start putting up these compilations of Will Smith talking at various events, and the whole mystique falls away, and you're like, geez, Will Smith is like so insecure.
He's broken. He's a cuck.
And broken. Well, and
he's been cucked. He's broken, yeah. But hopefully, has he been broken enough now that he's going to stop and stand up for himself?
They've been separated for this long. The red table talk that was so fucking embarrassing and so rude to her husband. That red paper talk.
Oh yeah.
Red table talk. If you're partners, you don't talk that way about your partner. And then after all of that, the slap happens. The man, I don't know if he's rescuable. Okay, he's.
You don't think? Oh, I think he is. I think he's very rescuable. I think when you see, because I think everybody feels like she's a narcissist and that she has manipulated every situation to make him feel like the bad guy, right? Like he had her 40th birthday party. He spent over $1 million trying to make this big thing that he thought she would love, right? For her to celebrate her, and she's like, "What is this shit? This is you." Aggrandizing yourself. This isn't about me. And, he took that all on board. Like, everything I do is about me. Doesn't matter how I'm trying to do something nice for my wife. It's ultimately about me. I'm a piece of garbage. There's no way that I can do anything for somebody else and not have it look like it's for me. It's just the ultimate manipulation. So he probably walks through the world just completely twisted.
But she's still, it's like, even though it seems like the online opinion about her is that she's a narcissist, this press tour is like she's getting on stuff. She's getting on shows, right? With people that seem to be sympathetic to her. Like,
well, come on, listen. Anybody that's going to give you a soundbite, you're going to let them on. If they're going to get you views, you're going to let them come on and say the dumb thing they're going to say.
That's true. Jada Pinkett Smith can come on this show. And I think it would do good stuff for a book.
I know. Hey, we also like Mitt Romney to come on. Can we get that to happen?
Oh, I would actually like Mitt Romney to come on and be like, "I'm sorry, man."
Let's talk about some stuff.
I feel like I'm as worried about the Democratic Party. Like I'm worried about there being as few people that are reasonable in the Democratic Party as there are in the Republican Party, with just like Mitt Romney and then Liz Cheney, maybe, like that,
on some things, right? And that's what it's always about. There's a few things where we can have common ground and others where it's never going to be common. And you know, you take what
They're
you can
still
get.
Republicans. I'm not saying they're not Republicans,
Exactly.
but it's like, but they seem good faith. You know, they're not part of a cult in the same way. And now, more and more every day, I talk to friends and I talk to just other liberals, and I'm like, you know, like this is getting worse. And I know, I mean, it's not new to say that we're more divided than ever and whatnot, but I don't know. It's like the disinformation seeming localized on the right does not feel true at all anymore.
Right.
And the thing that was frustrating about the disinformation on the right, when it seemed like there was like a lack of parity in terms of facts between the left and the right in, like, I don't know, the early 2010s, maybe 2016 election type era. The thing that was frustrating is even when you point out how little truth there is to the claims that are being made, there was sort of like a so what attitude where it's like, yes, but the essence of what this is saying is true. And it's
exactly.
Like,
it could be true though, right?
Yeah. That it seems like that could be true. And it's but now I do feel like more and more, if you point out things are just not true on the left, you get the exact same sort of feeling, right? And it's like, I don't know.
If you're not left enough, if you're not doing the left well enough, you're a piece of garbage. There's no friendship there. You must be torn to the ground. We must call your job because, you know what I mean? How dare you?
So much policing. And you know what's funny here is, like, we actually do have this, that Israel-Palestine has really ignited this on the left, because there is a sect of the left that has been like the pro-Palestinian movement in the American left has been growing for decades, and it is really quite substantial now, and for good reason. But for good reason. What
do you want to talk about with regard to Israel and Gaza? I don't totally know what your stance is on this. And again, I'm uncomfortable with talking about it.
Cool. Okay. Here are a couple of stances. Okay. One, killing civilians on purpose, like for the purpose of killing civilians, for the purpose of creating terror, for the purpose of but because you literally don't believe in the humanity of the civilians themselves, to the point where you are targeting civilians with no expectation that they're even a military target, right? That sort of action is terrorism, and is deplorable, and is evil, and is it speaks to a sort of philosophy behind a cause that can completely illegitimize a cause, right? And there's a complexity here, you know, in that the reality of Gaza is that Hamas was elected with a charter that is anti-Semitic. And yet, one can understand and advocate for a group that is being subjugated, that is being procedurally harassed, that is having their rights taken away, that is being treated as less than human, even when a significant portion of that group of people hold views that are themselves deplorable. Because humans are like sponges to both good and bad ideas. Okay? There's nothing genetically different between us, the Americans that are here, right? There's nothing genetically different between us and a group of people that actively fought tooth and nail to keep slavery alive in the country, right? We're genetically the same. And if we were raised in that society, an incredibly select few of us would have been able to see the evil of slavery. And most of us would have passionately defended it, right? Humans are sponges to terrible ideas. Humans are sponges to the idea that certain groups of people are less human. we are so susceptible to these types of thoughts.
I hate it. I don't think you're wrong. I think we all have those moments where, or like if we don't have the word, the words for something yet, or this is a new idea. And like sometimes you can feel like something is off, but you don't know what's off about it yet. You don't have the language to articulate, right? And so, everybody else thinks it's fine. I guess we just keep going along with these terrible ideas. But
yep,
it's hard for me around Gaza and Israel.
So there are like cultures on this earth, and there are ideas that are morally bankrupt. There are groups of people that treat the deaths of other groups on the basis of their race or their ethnicity or their nationality,
or their ideology,
right? Treat them as cause for celebration, and that is an accepted thing, right? And yet the civilians, the humans, are victims there as well. They're victims of their situation, right? In the same way that historically, when we look at some of the terrible things that our forefathers did, they are victims to the ideas that were available at the time, right? Your ability to think and to understand concepts is heavily influenced by what language you speak, because the way that languages are structured will create the foundation for how thoughts come into your head. There are so many things that box in the way that you think. And that's
an interesting one. When you think about different cultures and languages have a different way of communicating completely. Like I think American humor doesn't make any sense in certain Korean languages where they think that we're really being mean and stuff and that we're being awful. And it's like, oh no, that's just a joke. And it doesn't translate.
Yeah. And like the other thing that's important, and Ellie will know that is in the room and will know that I'm stealing this argument from one of our favorite arguers. But just because a culture has these sort of ideas and that they're ingrained in, maybe religious texts, just because that is true doesn't mean that there's not tremendous potential to absorb better ideas. Better ideas have been absorbed so quickly by cultures that are terrible, okay? Yeah. Like America, right? Yeah. Yeah. A country in which people would dress up to go to lynchings, right? A country in which people would pose for photos in front of tortured corpses of Black men. In this country, within the last century, right? And now, one of the worst things that you can be accused of being in the South is racist, right? Claiming to be racist is like the worst thing ever. That's fantastic. It happened so fast and with a lot of struggle, but 100 years is incredible. And
that's what's still having a long way to go, right? But even just the idea of that,
But you have to be able to judge the moral precepts of certain societies and go, look, that this is not a winning formula. This is a formula for an onward slog of a fucking torture machine that is your society. This is a formula for tension. And one of the things that we have, and that has slowly been getting taken away over the course of the last centuries, but for some reason we're okay with some of these instances and not okay with others. One idea that is just so toxic to continuing improvement of the morality of our civilization is the idea that a country can decide that its lands are only for people of a certain class or group, right? It is such a toxic idea. It is it is an idea that only breeds contempt. It is an idea that breeds conflict. And if you want to have a world that can move past war, that can move past terrorism and all of these just atrocities, then you also have to be able to call out that ethnostates are bad.
Yeah.
And this is to say the group that Israel has been subjugating in Palestine has similar, if not worse, ideas for what they want Israel to look like, or Palestine to look like, right? What they want this land to look like. I don't give a fuck, right? That Judea to look like. I don't care, right? That if they were in charge. The society that they profess is worse. So it's like, but you can still advocate for a group of people that are being subjugated, even if the ideas within that group are, or at least that are being elected within that group, are also toxic. We need to align ourselves with good ideas. That interreligious marriage is fucking illegal in Israel. Okay, it is, and it's illegal on the basis of sex. It's both sexist and, is it xenophobic? What's the religion one? That
I don't know.
Bad. And so it's like it's not like Israel is some bastion of Western ideas. It's closer to Western ideas than many parts of the Middle East, right? It's beating out Iran, but is that really the fucking the limbo pole that we want to march under?
We've been tangled with them since Israel began in 1948, right? We were, as a country, instrumental in Israel existing after World War II. So, because it was a different place. There was already people living there, and it was given over to the Jewish people, even though there was already people there. And so this was always going to happen, and it's happened for decades and decades. Has our policy always been wrong on that? And there was a State Department official who just resigned and said, we've been doing this wrong, and we're still going to keep making the same mistakes over and over again by not holding Israel accountable for what they're doing, right? And again, you can understand why they feel like if we give Hamas an inch, they'll take a foot. You can understand why they feel everything and why they have continued to just clamp down further and further and further on Hamas and on Gaza and the Palestinian people. You can understand why it's happening, but what is the end result of continuing to clamp down tighter and tighter and tighter on a people? It's going to turn it into the thing that you're afraid it's going to turn into.
Well, and of course, the Israeli government has also actively attempted to radicalize Gaza. Like, has.
What do you mean when you say that?
I mean that it's pushed down moderate movements within Gaza, presumably because they don't want to have to deal with a moderate movement. Because like any sort of realism or actual negotiating here seems to be against the Israeli plan, because it is also a fucking apartheid state here, right? Both groups have the worst ideas. And you know what else America...
But we're throwing money at one side. Huh? What?
World build. Now, there is... people live in Israel now, right? Mm-hmm. And while certainly America should be flexing its powers to decrease the settlements within the West Bank, and to just decrease pushes within the West Bank, there needs to be a lot of work done to get good ideas to take hold in this region. There are certain problems that do not have like any solution, right? Gaza is an open air prison. Okay. Agreed. It's a fucking nightmare in Gaza. Yep. But Egypt also will not let people go from Gaza to Egypt.
That is interesting, isn't it?
Israel has turned it into a radicalized state, and the amount of risk that is taken on by any group that allows movement throughout that border is incredible and undeniable. There is great risk. This is an issue, right? Here's another issue. Most of the neighbors of Israel want to kill everyone in Israel. Not just the settlers, not the ones that are colonizing, right? The ones that have lived there. They want to destroy Israel, and they have professed anti-Jewish ideas. Uh-oh. It's a fucking nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
And both sides have civilians. Civilians that are victims to bad ideas. Civilians that are also just live there, right? Are just born. Dang it. I was born in a place with bad ideas. And with a government that clearly believes that certain people are worse and less than other people. And you know what I'm worried about? The fact that the left also seems to think that some people are worse than other people, and that people aren't victims to ideas, and that that there's no such.
We are losing our empathy for sure.
Yeah,
I hate it all. I hate Biden was in Israel, and I saw a little bit of his speech, and I had to change the channel because he was very much like it looks like the bombing of the hospital was, friendly fire, if you will. It was, Israel didn't do it according to our U.S. intelligence, and whatever Israel's telling us, and it's like, so our American ideologies are aligned with Israel's, and we're going to make sure good things happen, and we're going to try to, foster peace, whatever. I'm just like, I hate this conversation. I hate it.
It's infuriating. It's been infuriating, but we also allow our partner to have ideas that are completely fucking anti-American.
Yeah.
Right? And
we throw money at it.
Toxic to talk about the spread of American ideals in the Middle East, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like, there are people that are subject to tyranny that are just as much people as we are. We're just lucky that we're here. We just won a lottery, and it is frustrating as fuck.
Sometimes.
But also the Gaza hospital thing. It's like, I think at some point we're going to know what happened, or at least there will be a good report, but the damage is done. There's no way that you're going to get acceptance between different factions of America on what happened, even if there's really good evidence here.
Yeah.
I suspect that no matter who was at fault, it was an accident. I suspect.
I hope that it wasn't a purposeful target.
It's like,
because that changes everything if it was, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. If you're on the fence anyway, I don't know. I hate it all.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Just talk about proportionate response is, that's language that is definitely meant to attempt to box in what is expected to be a very bloody Israeli response. But it also is like, now we're getting into moral arithmetic. Fun, how many civilians over here, when you're not intentionally targeting civilians, is worth the civilians that were intentionally targeted, what are lives, Well,
yeah.
Fun.
And then there's, if Hamas is operating and using civilians as shields, right? Mm-hmm. Whose fault is that? Are these people allowing themselves to be shields? Does that make Hamas, I keep saying Hamas, like an extra layer of gross that they're not, standing front and center and letting their women and children stand in front of them? I don't know. It's all.
They like, clearly Hamas and those who sympathize with Hamas have very different ideas about death than we do, right? That just the fact that it's possible, right, to go and kill people and then strap them to a truck, or, maybe not even dead people, strap them to a truck and parade them through an area and people will celebrate and assault those bodies is evidence for how fucking medieval ideas are, right?
Yeah.
That
I think
that is just not something, admittedly, it is just not something Israel is going to do, right? And Israel's very likely to, they're not.
No, not that. You're right, not that.
No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to use themselves as human shields, depending on how realistic that real thing is. Also, they probably wouldn't do that because the opposing side would not give a fuck about human shields. So there is like a moral equivalence problem here, because one side does hold itself to a different standard. The thing is that the side that holds itself to a higher standard is way more powerful in terms of military might and still has terrible ideas.
Yeah, their standard is still not good enough, as far as I'm concerned. It's not good enough. And then I think the thing that I'm struggling with also is disinformation, right? Like if you're watching social media, you're getting like instant information, but is it real information, or is it somebody that wants me to get angry at something that didn't really happen? We've taken old footage, we've made it look new, we've shouted over the top of it and made it sound like something. So it's hard because I don't know what's real, and then I also don't know if the mainstream media is real either, because it feels like that they might be getting silenced a little bit too,
Without a doubt, right now, we have friends that work for groups where they are actively firing people that have posted anything pro-Palestinian on social media, no nuance, right? What I've said here, which I feel like I'm really trying to straddle a line here, what I've said here would 100% get them fired from their job, right? and they've hired groups to comb through what other people put out there so that there doesn't seem to be any anti-Israeli sentiment. Then, on the other hand, I have ultra-liberal friends who only believe the Palestinian side of the conflict, right? Will not acknowledge that the explosion at the hospital, that there's some question about who did it, right? Will not acknowledge that it doesn't really make sense. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. Within the Palestinian side of things, it's like, bro, some of the things that some friends of mine have said about like rape as a tool of war has made me question my friendships. And I've had to go, look, we're victims to our ideas here. We understand that Palestine is like the subjugated group. And so whether or not the ideas are fucking terrible here, and whether or not it's really complicated, it's just that these people view things as like subjugated group always right. And it's like, well, they are subjugated. I'm with you, right? But it is also like, what's the pragmatic?
Why would rape being a tool of war, which it is a tool of war, even come up? I mean, it's frustrating. Like, you don't get to set your morals aside, if you say that you have any.
Yeah,
on things like that. I mean, literally, does your commander say, "Hey, we need you to go. We have a quick 2:00. Everybody needs to go rape everybody they can by 2:00. That's what's on the docket for today." No.
It's the same thing on both sides, though, right? Where people are willing to suspend their morals for the side that they're with, but then are infuriated by the suspension of morals on the opposing side. Now, again, cannot emphasize enough that still it does, like, one, if the stated goal of Israel was the same as the stated goal of Hamas, Gaza would not exist. There's no question. Okay, Israel has the military might beyond doubt to eviscerate Gaza. And the reason they don't is because of some base level of understanding that civilians have a right to life, even when a substantial number of those civilians have a stated goal of killing all Jews, right? Even then. So there's a certain amount of empathy there. Whereas, again, Gaza has
but they're also surrounded by a bunch of Islamic countries, right? So if you did really try to do that, if Israel did try to really destroy the Palestinians all the way, would they suddenly be victims of every Islamic country around them? Would they now be starting an actual complete war in that region?
I think that there's a question. I think that that's why America can't withdraw its funding, and why America is very hesitant to play ultimatums with Israel, is because if Israel doesn't say yes, I think American involvement would also result in the end of Israel. Probably the American disinvolvement would also result in the end of Israel. But I kind of suspect that they could destroy Gaza with limited impact on Israel. I think that Iran will probably do something, and then Iran will be afraid of America again. So I don't know. It's complicated. It's not perfect arithmetic here.
It's complicated. Anybody telling you otherwise, that they know what's right and wrong in this scenario and are trying to simplify it, are lying to themselves. There's nothing simple happening here.
There are choices both sides are making in this where you're like, can someone tell me the logic of this? Now, I'm not a fucking general, all right? So there is a certain amount of look, I think someone could put together an argument for why this is a good idea. But bombing along the southern border where people are attempting to exit Gaza,
where you told them to exit,
told them to go, that seems like not the move to me. Yeah. Speaking as a guy that looks like Jesus, and then on the other side, it's like Hamas knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that what was done on October 7th was going to prompt this sort of military response.
You had to.
Why? Why? Right? Why do things as horrific and publicly, right? Because why film it and put it out there? Why try and get in front of the media? When you know that the state adjacent to you has the power to eviscerate you. And I think that there's a certain level of
were they
like
not feeling seen? Were they feeling like, nothing is going to change? Nobody's paying attention to our plight. We have to do something big. We'll take out whoever we need to, as long as it ultimately results in people seeing the plight of the Palestinian people. I don't know. What could their motive be? That's the only one that makes sense to me.
They have certainly dealt a heavy blow to pro-Palestinian movements within America, which I think is probably one of their best strategies. Another good strategy, I think, would be not being pro-ethno-state anti-Semites. I think that would be a better strategy. But
yeah, good luck on that one.
I mean, good luck on both sides. Both sides are just actively racist, like only want the country for themselves type beat. All right, well, this is the result. I don't know what to tell you. We should probably not have peace dance parties in Israel because it's a fucking apartheid state. And these are the downsides.
I hate it.
Yeah.
My understanding is that Biden is going to be asking for $100 billion in aid for Israel, when we can't even get the aid for Ukraine right now because we can't pass any bills because we have no Speaker of the House. So Jim Jordan has had a few tries this week of trying to become Speaker of the House. They did not go well. The first vote didn't go well. The second vote went worse. He made no efforts to reach across the aisle. Instead, he tried to strong arm everybody on the Republican side to vote for him, to the point where people acting on his behalf were calling representatives' wives and basically threatening the wives and saying, if your husband doesn't get in line, then he's not going to have a career anymore, blah, 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 blah. Just kind of saying nasty things to people's wives, which you can imagine it didn't work.
Thank God that doesn't work yet.
It gives you hope for America, right? That we're like, nah.
I'm like, oh, you don't respond well to threats? Thank fucking God.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God your wife was like, don't bow down to that dude. What a dick. So, I mean, Jim Jordan has, the entire time he has been in Congress, has not successfully had his name on any piece of legislation that has passed. He spends a lot of time wasting time by any kind of budgetary things that comes through. He basically craps on all of them. He doesn't want to spend any money. He's one of those people that wants the government to fall apart. That is, he's a chaos monger. It's what he is. And he decided, hey, speakership, now let me try that. He's not qualified for that job. It is a hard job. It is a job that requires a lot of effort. You are scheduling everything that's going to happen. You're deciding what bills are moving forward. If you're Nancy Pelosi, you know how those votes are going to go before the votes even happen, because you've done your job. You're paying attention to all of the moving parts before you throw legislation, before a vote. And Jim Jordan definitely can't do that, because that's not what he's about. He's about wasting time and things not happening. The Democrats are never going to vote for him, because that's the game. That's the way the game is designed right now. It's been designed a long time. We don't reach across the aisle. You guys have the majority. Get it done yourselves. We are not going to help you get your job done. We're not going to help you keep the majority. We're just going to keep voting for our minority leader over and over and over again. It's been fascinating to watch Republicans throw other names out there, knowing what it's going to do, to watch them abstain, to just watch them, not appreciate being bullied. It's been kind of beautiful. Yes, it does not help. It does not help us get anything done in Congress, but watching somebody push back against somebody. Okay, so the speaker is second in line. So you've got the president, who's already filling the spot, then the vice president, then the speaker. You don't want a garbage person in that spot. It's too risky, right? Mm-hmm. So I am enjoying this part of the American process, as we've watched so much stuff just turn to garbage in America lately. Seeing a little bit of balancing stuff out happen makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. Let's see. Barbie said, I thought Liz Cheney would have been good. So Liz Cheney is not in Congress right now, but it doesn't matter. You can have somebody who is not actually a representative fill that role. She would probably be reasonably good. Right now, I guess after the second vote happened, Jim Jordan said that he's not going to try again. He's not going to do it as many times as McCarthy did. He's going to stop here, and they're going to let the Speaker pro temp
Wait, I'm sorry. I thought he just reversed his opinion on it.
Oh, I didn't think so, because I thought we were going to let the Speaker pro temp go till January.
No. In a reversal from hours ago, Representative Jim Jordan said he would push ahead with another vote on his bid to become House Speaker.
No way. What an idiot. So he's only allowed to do it 4 times with whatever the current rules are. I think after the whole McCarthy debacle, they've limited it to 4 tries. So he's 2 down. He's going to do it again.
Yep.
Why not let the pro temp guy go? Yes, he looks hilariously like a Keebler elf. Did you know that he changed out the chair behind him because it made him look even tinier? And he's put a tinier chair in so that he looks bigger. To me, he also needs to put in a smaller microphone because he also looks tiny next to the microphone. And a tinier gavel because that thing looks comically large in his hand. My mind is blown. I did not know that. So that's
I think that came out right before we went on.
Oh, man.
I got a notification on my watch.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. Well, let's see. We got a couple more days of nonsense, but again, we've got no legislation is going to be moving forward while this nonsense continues. No money for Ukraine, and money for Ukraine sometimes can be. It is one of those talking points that to get the right all riled up, but it isn't. A lot of times, what it is we're giving them our old equipment. And that, however many $1 billion is actually used in our defense budget, because it's all coming out of the defense budget anyway. But that money is being used to give our military new equipment to replace the old stuff. So it's one of those interesting kind of, it doesn't have to be a negative. You don't have to look at it at a negative way. Plus, I don't want to deal with Russia. Let the Ukrainians deal with Russia. Give them our old stuff. It's fine.
Yep.
But whatever, if you wanted to, if you just think, no, we can't. Why our own people are suffering? Why are we giving money to the Ukraine? Okay, should we give some money to America? Sure. Are you going to keep voting no on any legislation that is for the American people? Is that what's going to happen? Because I think that's what's going to happen. So don't be disingenuous. Because I would be with you if you were being genuine, but you're not. So that's happening. In other nonsense that is similarly dumb, but also kind of fun, right? So, I don't really like to talk about what's going on with Trump because there's so much of it. And also, I don't know, man. I don't trust anything's real until it's real. Until we have a verdict and something has happened, it's all just a show. But Sidney Powell, often called the Kraken, because so Sidney Powell, she is a lawyer and she was working for Trump during the election situation where he was saying that the whole election was a fraud, right? So she was part of that entire scheme. And, she was one of those people that was going after the Dominion voting machines. That was really where her focus was. And she's, we've got all of this proof. We've got so much proof. We're going to release the Kraken, which is basically the entire web of conspiracy to steal the election through these Dominion voting machines. We're going to release the Kraken. We're going to release all this information. We have so much information, right? They didn't have anything because it wasn't real, right? So she just pled guilty to 6 charges of, conspiracy to mess up the election, basically. She pled them as misdemeanors, which I don't love, but it is what it is. But she's going to get 6 years of probation, and she's also basically required to help prosecute other people and tell the whole part of what she knows. And it is interesting because she was one of those people that wanted that demanded a speedy trial. So she's also, you have her and what's his name, Chesborough. So they call them cheese and crackers or cheese and kraken, which is funny. But so her trial was just about to start their jury selection, and she has pled out. And it's going to be interesting to hear her. She's got to apologize to the people of Georgia because this is part of the Georgia RICO case. That's the one we're talking about right now. There's so many cases, it's hard to keep track of, but this is the Georgia RICO one. And she's got to apologize to the people of Georgia in a written letter, which I think is hilarious and sort of pointless, but I want to read it. And yeah, she's going to have to, what did I say? She's going to have to talk. She's going to have to say what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And and that's what's happening. She was part of this very weird situation in Coffee County where there was a election official in that county. Now, Trump won that county by 70%, but during the election meeting, she said, "Oh, you can totally manipulate these machines." Like she said that in in an election meeting, and somebody heard it and got a hold of Trump's people and Trump's lawyer, and then they started talking to her, and she sent them a letter inviting them in to see this machine, come and investigate this machine, and then opened the door and let them go in and mess around with the machine. So they tampered with the machine. It was after the election, right? But it's still a no-no. What are you doing? What are you doing? And this woman opened the door, and anyway, Sidney Powell was part of that whole situation involving those Dominion machines. So it's just interesting to see. I think at one point she did say, "Anybody that believes me is an idiot." You know what I mean? She knows she's lying. She's not one of those people that believes, this is true. Like some of the electors that the fake electors thought they were doing the right thing. They're like, "Oh no, this election was so." No, she wasn't one of those. She knew that she was full of it and helped to create the conspiracy.
I think it's fair to say most of the people that were near Trump knew that they were full of shit.
Right.
And Trump definitely knew.
Right. But then they were moving other little pawns around on the chessboard that didn't know, that believed. So, yeah. So that's kind of fun, seeing somebody actually plead guilty, a lawyer at that, a lawyer plead guilty to RICO charges to save themselves. It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Can't be mad at it.
I can't get mad at it, but again, I gotta wait till I see bigger stuff happen. I need the bigger stuff, and a lot of those trials are a ways off. So these were the first ones that were going to happen. Chesborough, however you want to say his name. He's also his jury selection also starts, I think, this week. He was also offered a plea agreement and said no, he doesn't want to plead. So we might actually get to watch that. So that'll be exciting.
Cool.
Did she lose
a long time network?
Did she lose her license to practice? I actually don't know, but it feels like everybody that comes in contact with Trump loses their license because they're committing crimes, right? That's the risk. If you are committing crimes for your client, it's a pretty good guess that you're going to lose your law license.
Yep. So
that's what's going on this week. Did we get everybody?
I think so.
We got everybody on our list.
Nice. Let's go. Almost time for me to make some Brussels sprout pasta. Yummy.
Is the pasta made of Brussels sprouts?
Nope, it's just pasta with a lot of Brussels sprouts in it.
Oh. Have you tried the chickpea pastas? They're pretty good.
No.
I'm going to tell you, they taste, they're the closest I've seen. Like, I don't like the whole wheat ones. To me, don't taste like regular pasta. The chickpea ones do. The red lentil one, I didn't like the red lentil one. But chickpea, thumbs up. Thumbs up.
I mean, we weigh out the pasta, and it's like, we have like one serving of pasta, 200 calories. It's like, just worth it. Worth it to have that little bit of pasta and then just so many vegetables in it.
Yep. You just need that little something. You just need that little bit of
little carb,
little bulk, a little bit of bulk action.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Do we want to do the daily GeoGuessr?
Yeah, you want to do some GeoGuessr?
Yeah. Let's just do it real quick. Real quick, innit? Oh, Jesus. I can't spell. There we go. Okay, pulling it up. Don't you worry.
Hey, do you think if I sing Toxic again on our way out that it's going to be so close to the original that we're going to get copyright infringed? They're going to be like, you're totally using the real track. No.
All right, you answered that. That's funny.
Sorry, I was making fun of myself because Oh, what's
All
going
right.
on here?
Ooh, what the hell?
Wait, are we already in the game?
Yeah, we're in the game.
We're in a
Yeah,
museum. Listen,
we are
let's
in a
get
museum.
this is
seem
not
to be
useful.
some sort of like, I don't know, Mongolian.
But there could be a Mongolian exhibit anywhere.
Except that this is in
Ooh, let's look at the
Chinese on top.
Okay.
Chinese ethnic.
Costumes.
Oh, wait. But that doesn't look like, that looks like Japanese. I think that's Japanese. Okay, we're in Japan.
And we've also got English writing on the underneath it, so it's not just written in one language.
Yes, but it is under it. And when you look at the signs, oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, I think we're in Japan, but we're probably in like ultra populated Japan. Okay, get me out of here, please.
Hi, Patricia.
Ethnic Costume Museum of Beijing, bada bing.
Oh, okay. It's some Beijing Museum of History or something. Where's Beijing?
Oh my gosh, I can't.
Oh, so we're in China?
Yeah. Beijing.
Oh my lord. Oh, what's that big square in the middle?
Museum.
Let's click on that thing. What is that? That big blue box.
This, let's see, Palace of Earthly Tranquility. This feels.
Are we in a palace?
No, we're in a museum. But there's museums right here. Cultural Palace of Nationalities.
Why not?
Mausoleum of Mao Zedong. Oh.
Cool.
Tiananmen Square. Nothing ever happened there.
No.
All right, I'm gonna go with the National Museum of China because it feels like. All right, 5 miles.
Where were we really?
We were a little north.
What does it say though?
By the Beijing Institute of Fashion Technology.
How did we guess that this was a fashion institute?
Oh, we're in Asia again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty cool.
It looks like.
I appreciate that they didn't just dump us on a gravel road in Africa and say, figure it out.
There's like a gnome guy and a triceratops.
A triceratops. That is an unusual combination.
Not nearly as much English.
There seemed to be a coffin in the middle there too. Let's see.
It does still look like China.
Okay, can we go back to that coffin?
You want to go back to the coffin?
Yeah, is there a sign near it or anything? Where'd the coffin go? Right there. What's that? Oh, maybe it's just a ceremonial.
I don't think it's a coffin.
Oh, you're right. You're right. It's a carriage.
This looks like where the final scene of Mulan happened.
I think it's a market of some sort. Let's see. Ooh, there's a sign there.
There's a sign.
Probably not in English.
Yeah, no English at all. Which makes it feel like Happy Drink Cafe Tea. Uh-oh. Here we go. My Milk Tea Coffee Home.
Ooh, yum.
Fresh coffee served here for 5 cents. Well, 5 yen. Okay.
Some cigarettes.
Here's some English. Senko Gold Store. The Qing Dynasty. Nanjing.
Okay. Where's Nanjing? Let's say we're in Nanjing.
It's pretty close to Japan. Let's see.
Did you see it before? Is that why you know that?
No, I know of it because of the.
Is that it right there?
Where?
Right above Shanghai? What is that?
That's Nantong.
Oh.
So how dare you?
Would I be better without my glasses on? Oh, Nanjing, you just pass it. Down. Right there.
Where?
Below Guangzhou.
Oh, Nanjing. Damn it. We were 331 miles. Of course we were in Zhukan district.
How did we not know that? We tried our best.
Yeah, it's still good.
Oh, anywhere.
Anywhere.
America.
Definitely America. Colby Hill, 10600 Drive in Stanton Hills.
Ooh. Are we in Utah? We had numbers on it. Well, it had names though. Let's see.
Yeah, it had names.
Are there mountains?
I'm trying to. What would that plate be?
I don't know. Not mountains.
I don't see mountains.
Okay, somewhere flat.
Breeze Hills. It's like there's got to be like a sign that's like we're part of the PTA of, you know.
Yeah. Let's look at that license. Let's see license plate again. Oh, it's blurred out. Nobody's got any state flags flying, just American flags.
Yeah, not a lot of. I don't see any Trump flags. Oh, that's a Florida plate.
Oh, wait, isn't it Georgia? I think that's a Georgia.
It's Georgia. You're right. You're so right. Yeah, Georgia. Okay. What part of? Oh, that's a Jacksonville sticker, though.
Well,
what does the Florida plate look like?
I don't know. But I thought, well, yeah, is that an orange on it or is that a peach? I guess that's the question. So maybe it is Florida.
I think you might be right, though. I think it is Georgia. And these trees look like Georgia trees, don't they?
They look like the South for sure. Those tall pine trees. If we could get out of this subdivision.
904 area code. You know that.
Sure. Yeah, I know all the area codes. I've got them memorized.
Solar panels.
Are we in a cul-de-sac again?
Yeah, I cannot get out of this place. Alabama flag. We've got an Alabama flag, and we've got a Jacksonville sticker.
Jeez, come on, you guys. Get with it.
So if it's Georgia, it's going to be like
the southern part.
Oh, dude, it's going to be the part of Georgia that's right by Jacksonville. Bing, bang, boom. You could say Valdosta.
Sure, why not? We'll be close enough. We've only got 24 seconds.
Jacksonville.
We tried.
Okay, 96 miles.
Yep, I'll take it. Oh, geez. Poland.
Poland.
I'm going to stick with Poland for now. I've got no more additional information. Let's see.
Hagiomanios. Dessert Tech.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it does feel Eastern European, maybe.
Oh,
Warsaw.
I feel like there was somewhere in that Polish block where it almost looked Spanish. Some of their city names.
Accents over the E's.
Yeah. Oh, let's keep going.
Pentek. Wassernap. True, Wassernap.
Okay, let's see. Let's get some street signs. What do we got?
Kapas Utka.
Oh, okay.
This is one of those ones where I start.
It's a hospital. I don't think we're in Belgium, even though, it looks well enough. Let's see.
We could be in Czechia. Could be in Prague.
I don't know.
Or we could be in Zielona Góra.
Should we look on the street some more, see if something...
Yeah. Okay.
They're like, okay, over there on that bus. Oh,
sorry. What bus?
Was there a bus? A thing? A bus? Okay, let's look at these signs. Any of these signs.
Karakparut Halozat Budapest.
Okay. Budapest. Where's Budapest? Oh, right there. Slovakia. Boop.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely Budapest. Nice. 2.2 miles. I should have guessed we were on the western side of the river.
Oh, geez. Why is that bus so long? Vacante.
Campo.
Electrónico. Campo. Fuentes. Hípico. I don't know what Hípico is.
It looks like they made the sign out of the side of a storage container.
Oh. I mean, I feel like we're in South America.
Not Mexico?
I mean, okay, it could be Mexico. I don't
short
know.
Plates.
Oh, does short plates mean Mexico?
Not for sure. Oh, it does have yellow lines though, which is a very good sign that it's Mexico.
Okay. What does it say? Oh, nothing interesting. C'est pas de la used to be part of. Oh, wait. Fundación Grupo
Grupo
Imperial.
Imperial.
Okay. What is that? Imperial Group. What's the red sign here? Mi casa.
Europa.
Okay.
Cento. Okay. Very good.
What are all these little green signs? I wish we could see these little signs better.
Adriana Fuentes.
But for what? What is she running for?
I don't know.
I want to know.
Auto Servicio Dorado.
But where are we? Dorado? Are we in Dorado? I don't know.
That's my best guess right now.
Ooh. College Bilingua. Incorporated. Centro de Teras. Okay, I don't know. Hi, Shayna.
Hello. Dude, this.
Yeah. Oh, bienvenidos. Oh, wait. Bienvenidos. What? That's just a store. Pharmacy. Okay.
Benevides. Mexico flag.
Okay.
I
just need to know where. Mexico's a big place. Escuela de Fútbol.
Is there a place called Dorado?
There's El Dorado. What does it say? Medicine. Centro de Cirugía. Is that a place? Probably not. It's probably a center of something. Wait. Oh, you're so fast.
Whoa. A lot of development.
Come on. Put a town name on something.
We got 10 seconds.
Oh, shit. Well, somewhere.
Mexico City. God damn it.
Ciudad Juarez. We're in Juarez?
Oh, yeah.
No way.
Wow.
All right.
Right next to El Paso.
I would have thought there'd be a lot more English signs if we were that close to the border.
Pretty good round, though.
Pretty good. Not as good as last week where we were like feet away from things.
I think we actually got more points this time, but.
Really?
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for joining. It's been a real pleasure. And
indeed. Oh, should we thank everybody in person by name?
Yes.
Thank you
to Hannah.
Barbie. Thank you, Barbie. Mel B. Ashley Nicole. Critolin. Venus de Militant. And then I think we gotta go away. It's a lot of talking. Patricia with a C. And then I think Shayna, I think, is the last one.
That's the group.
That's the group. Yes, thank you guys all for watching and participating in the chat. It was great to have you here. If you could hit the like button, that would be great. If you've already hit it, could you click it 2 more times just because it brings me joy. Thank you for keeping us company. Shall we sing it out?
Let's sing it out.
Let's sing it out. With the taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. Your toxic got slipping on the taste of my poison paradise.
I'm addicted to you. Don't you know that you're toxic?
Intoxicating now. With your loving now. I think I'm ready now. I'm ready now. Intoxicated now. With your loving now. I think ready now. I think I'm ready now. Jada Pinkett Smith is not a great person. Hello. Thank you very much.